Hey, notice this, notice this. So, number one, you can't let it dominate you. Number two, you can't deny it. Yeah. It's actually real that Judas was out to do him wrong. Well, y'all listen to me. Now, this is my personality. This is my personality. I don't think that way. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I want to think the best of people. I don't want to live looking over my shoulder. Every time I look over my shoulder, all I see is goodness and mercy shall follow me. But I don't want to live in such a way that I'm down. I can't see a devil behind every bush. Amen. I don't want to get paranoid. I'm simply saying, because many times I see people and I say, I can't believe they're in sin. I can't believe I heard him preach. He preached with the power of God on him. I can't believe that man's in sin. But at the same time, I had a pastor. My pastor taught me everything I know. And my pastor got hooked up with a woman in the church. And he come to me that our pastor was running around with a woman. And I said, there is no way I would ever believe that. Right. As a matter of fact, my best friends walked off and left me because they said the pastor was running around with a woman in the church. I said, I'll never believe that. And my best friends left me. And I stayed with the pastor. Thank God I stayed with the pastor. And I tell you what I saw. I saw that what God did to them because they forsook him. And by the way, it turned out he was running around with a woman. But every pastor I ever had, every preacher I listened to after I got saved, Brother Chan, every preacher that I got tied up with, either on the radio or listening to preachers or past, everyone I got tied when I first got saved, everyone I got tied up with, run off with a woman. Now you talk about devastating. When you're a young Christian and you're in a church and the people you're looking to for spiritually, that's why, church, we ought to be real. If you're going to live for God, you ought to be real. That's right. My pastor run off, forsook the church. This woman walked in our church. And y'all get mad at it if you want to, but I'm just telling you, she walked in our church. This preacher had been across town and the church folded, and they come over to our church and joined not the church I pastored, not the church I'm out of. And they come over to be in our church. And she walked in on Sunday morning, and my wife looked at it. My wife gave me a elbow in my ribs. I said, what in the world's wrong with you, woman? She said, I hate to tell you that, but that's trouble. I said, do what? She said, that's trouble. I said, what in the world? That's trouble. The woman just walked in. She said, I don't want to tell you that, but that's trouble. Tell it. Yeah. Do you know what happened? That woman run off with the preacher. And what my wife told me was true. Here's my point. Why would anybody want to go to church and live like that? Hey, I'm telling you, sometimes our wives are the best at that.
That's right. Amen. You're right.
Sometimes our wives, they don't live with secrets. They tell you. Sometimes our wives just say, you better watch that. Yeah. And I have learned. With my wife, I'm telling you, I don't make her look bad. I really don't. I've learned. When my wife says, you better watch that, you better watch it. Anybody listening? Because I'm the kind of fella, I love everybody. She hates everybody. Maybe that's why God kept her in the room tonight. Amen. That woman that I just told you about with our pastor, she destroyed our pastor. She destroyed the church. Listen to me, I'm talking to no church there tonight. There's no church. One time we was running 140. We had a day school of 400 children. And tonight there is no church there because one woman walked in the church and messed up the preaching. Are y'all listening to me?